You back. We bring you this now. The Commission for Gender Equality says that whilst it welcomes the arrest of a man for the murder of a Cape Town woman whose body was found dumped in Philippi on Women's Day, the government needs to speed up the opening of designated sexual offences courts across the country, this to effectively and speedily prosecute crimes against women. But for more on this, I'm now joined by Advocate Sepanya Mogale, the Commissioner at the Commission for Gender Equality. Advocate Mogale, a pleasure to talk to you this morning. Let's talk about this. It breaks my heart that we have to have this conversation during Women's Month, but it is the reality of our country. Women in this country still do not receiving that justice, and you're making a call here to government to say they not only need to speed up the opening of the sexual offences court, but to also prosecute so justice can be served.
Yes, if you may remember that on the 10th of June at the NCOP, when the President responded to questions, he actually said he intends to open up about 32 specialized sexual offences courts. And we are saying this is long overdue and it has got to be speeded up. Specialized sexual offences courts do exist in some jurisdictions. However, we say it must be a permanent feature, like with the labor courts and other specialized courts, like the children's courts, in almost all our courts, because this, number one, will speed up prosecutions, as we are saying, but we will begin to have a pool of prosecutors who specialize in this area, who know the craft even deeper than ordinary prosecutors, and therefore there will be more convictions that we get out of our processes.
Yeah, indeed, you're right in quoting the President there, Advocate, because he did commit that there are 32 regional courts which were ready to be designated as the sexual offences courts. Have you engaged with either the Presidency, with government, as to why the delay is currently occurring?
No, at this point we have not engaged with them, but we are planning to engage with them. Processes are quite advanced in terms of us meeting with them to actually find out where the problems are. The delay from our side to set up a meeting with them was because we are in the process of visiting all the jurisdictions, so that when we go and see them, we have a fuller picture, as much full a picture as possible, to say this is how the land lies out there. We would like more intervention, especially at these areas.
Advocate, I'm keen to know from you, if I may just jump in there, why do you think South Africa is falling short, in prosecuting in as far as GBV is concerned? When you speak to different interest groups, they are tired of conversations. They are tired of dialogue. As a matter of fact, they find Women's Month more of an excuse to keep talking about how justice needs to be served, but they're saying action is following quite slowly. What do you think? Why do you think this is the case?
I think all our systems are actually operating in silos, because when you look at any crime, including gender-based violence crimes, they've got to be prosecuted in a multidisciplinary team, in a multidisciplinary kind of environment and approach. Yet we continue to make it as though it is a common assault, and we prosecute that one case and we jump to the next one, or this is rape, it's an individual case, whereas our point of departure is supposed to be exactly as the President had said a few years ago, that we have got two pandemics in our country, COVID and this one. The numbers are so alarming that we need to revisit our strategy and change tactic. We still have police officers who are not trained, and those that are not trained, that are trained, do not have resources. We still have courts that actually deal with this as an ordinary crime instead of seeing it as specialized and bringing in people who will know and be specialized. We still do not have laboratories, and as the CGE, we actually are calling on the fund to look into setting up laboratories, because that is where the evidence that has been gathered is undermined. When you don't package it properly, when you don't analyze it properly, when you leave it for too long, that it is the quality thereof is compromised, you might just as well kiss the matter goodbye.
Yeah, and the truth of the matter is that we also see survivors, advocates, who also want to leave abusive homes, abusive households, and that's why you're probably also calling for the 6 Thuthuzela care centres to also be reopened, so to provide that shelter and that safety for these survivors.
Yes, but it must be noted that Thuthuzela care centres provide a temporary shelter. It's your crisis management kind of situation where people can run there. They are like your green doors. People just go there for, a maximum number of hours only. But there needs to be a long-term intervention of shelters, speedy divorces in our courts, protection of women who want that protection, speedier issuing and turnaround times of provisional protection orders, and follow up where there is a violation of those protection orders, because we are finding that the paper that those protection orders are written on is not worth anything because of the violations that continue to happen, and the police officer says, sorry, we don't have the resources to follow this up. So the whole system has got to be re-looked at.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for speaking to me. Advocate Sepanya Mogale, Commissioner of the Commission for Gender Equality, speaking to us there about sexual offences courts being open. That's the call, or rather the promise that the President made, saying they need to be expedited, but prosecution as well. Before we move on to the next story, I need to make this number public. This has been released by the Commission statement saying that if you are finding any dissatisfaction against efforts to get justice against your perpetrator, please call this number 0800 007 709. You can also send a please call me if you can't make a call to *120 *7867#, and the legal representatives, that's the Commission's legal reps, will be getting in touch with you.